Keep living the adventure. Axis of Awesome.
Incoming transmission.
What's up, adventurers? Welcome to another Sunday in the shop. We're back from vacation, and I've got a lot of cool things to share with you guys. It is hot as hell here in Central Illinois, and things are absolutely crazy right now. So to go ahead and start this thing off, let's get a few housekeeping things out of order. Hold on one second. I'm going to come right back, and we'll get through this list. Hold on a second. All right, we're back. So I have so I'm trying a new setup tonight since I got new internet. So we're doing it from the shop here, which allows me to share a few more things I wouldn't be able to. And I was getting a little echo from my other computer there. So I don't see anybody in the comments yet. So if you're out there, there's Dan DiBiase. Thanks for joining me, Dan. Let me know if everything sounds okay, if everything looks okay, because this is kind of like my first run in this with my new internet. So here we go. So a few housekeeping things. I hope you guys have been watching some of my shorts here lately with the clothing. As far as the clothing is concerned, I've dropped the shorts and dive belt sets, and those have all been pretty cool. And tonight, after this live stream, we will go ahead and do the short sleeve shirts with the pants. So you're going to get some of the really cool items, the one-off items like the jungle shirt here and this camouflage set here. So those will all drop after this live stream's over. So definitely, thanks, Dan. So definitely get on there and check that out. JShear923T on the YouTube or on the eBay. I have a lot of guys reaching out to me in the comment sections asking me about a lot of stuff. I don't always check my comments every day, so I don't really keep up with those. So the best way to really reach out to me is probably through email. jshear74@yahoo.com. I think it's on my YouTube page. So hit me emails. I answer those quite frequently. I still check email quite a bit. So that's it for the clothing. A few things that just dropped this week that I think you guys ought to check out. Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles debuted his latest photo story, Thirst, which is a really cool photo story. It's a very simple yet elegant story and very well done by Adam. He thought it was one of his best, and I have to agree with him on that. And today, Randall Geiger dropped his latest Action Man story that he does with his daughter. Those are super awesome. So definitely check those out. I've been seeing a lot of guys post the last couple of weeks. Joe Fest, I believe, was last weekend, and then Dallas-Fort Worth is this weekend. A lot of really cool pictures from everybody. I hope I got those dates right. And I've been paying attention to a lot of that stuff. And definitely get on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. There's a lot of people dropping a lot of really cool information on those two big festivals that just went off. Let's see. So I know I told you guys a while back I did the Action Man video where I restored the Action Man green, and then I did the review of the Green Beret set. I'm going to go ahead and split out that Green Beret set and do a separate review this fall. The reason being is I kind of just wanted to have it as a separate review. I'm kind of in the midst of going through all my videos and trying to complete out what I need to do for the rest of the year. So I need some filler videos on that reviews day, which is usually on Tuesdays. So we're going to go ahead and do that Action Man Green Beret set. I'll probably add some new footage to that. So I just want to let everybody know that if they see that again, it was not a mistake. Let's see. Golden Skull update. So we'll get to that here in a second, actually. 4th of July is this Friday, if we're still here. And I have a photo story dropping. It's Columbia. I think it's a really good photo story. when I was shooting the first part of Golden Skull, I was out in at my brother's farm, and I was like, I got an idea for another photo story. So I had some stuff on hand, and I decided to go ahead and make that. So I think it's a really fun photo story. It's a man of action photo story, which tends to be my more popular photo stories over the course of my channel. So definitely check out Columbia this Friday at 7 p.m. And don't blow your fingers off, guys. You're all adults here now. You should know how to use fireworks. Let's see. Japanese July kicks off this week with the Godzilla suit from Combat Joe. I think you're going to enjoy that. And then we're going to have some videos dropping, just some different stuff that I've got from Syndico Auctions Japan. Actually, speaking of Syndico Auctions Japan, I've been trying to stay off of there. I was on there a few weeks ago, and I found a Shogun Warrior for my son. If you guys aren't familiar with the AB style UFO Grendizer, it's kind of like one of the best, in my opinion, Shogun Warriors they've ever made. It's a deluxe version of that. It's super cool. We're going to get it in. We bought it, actually. I think it retailed for like $650 when it came out a couple years ago. I found it for like $200 and over in Japan. So it's going to cost me probably about $80 to ship. So I think I got a bargain on it. We're going to do a dope review on that. So be on the lookouts for that, you Shogun Warriors fans out there. And then last but not least, upcoming guests. I've got some guys lined up for August and September. I'll be reaching out to a lot of you guys here coming up to see if I can schedule you for this fall. I think it's going to be fun. I know the live stream's been really successful this time around. I revamped some stuff. I'm not beholden to any one date or time. So when I reach out to you guys, we'll work it out, and we'll come up with the best schedule that fits everybody. And I think it's going to be fun. I've got some cool guests lined up. There's some other guys I'm reaching out to right now to try to get in the slot. So be patient. I know that I like talking to everybody. I love just talking to people and finding out about their hobbies and everything they're interested in. And it's cool just to riff with people. And I had a great time with Greg Brown, as well as Sean Huckster, Jim Egner, and the rest of the gang that was on here this last, I guess, my first season, which was a couple months ago. So super awesome. So that's about it for that. So let's talk about Golden Skull. So I am making Golden Skull right now. This morning, I got up about 6, went out to my brother's farm. I had to cut some firewood first, but then I took all my Joes out there, and I started filming, I guess, Act 2 of my photo story. And I think it's going to be really dope. It was hot as hell, but I got it done. I just wanted to share with you guys one of the main characters in this photo story. I'm working on him right now. I'm getting ready to do the 3rd act, which will be the climax. So here is my character I'm working on. I built him out of wire, foil, and some other stuff. I'm working on finishing this guy right now. I won't give any more details on him, but this is the one of the characters from that Golden Skull photo story I'm working on. I'm also in the midst of working on a creature for it as well. And I've got this skull my brother gave me. I've got to flesh it out, and maybe you guys can guess what it's going to be. Maybe you can't. I've been taking a soldering iron and putting some stuff in here. So on this pool noodle. So I'm going to build this creature. It's probably one of the most extensive creatures that I've built since my my Yetis and my my Yeti and my Bigfoots. And then I think I built something else. I can't really remember. Oh, my cannibal, for my Nephilim cannibal. But this is all going to be scratch built. It's going to be super cool. So I hope so. I'm trying to finish it up right now. I've got a lot of time right now, so that's what I'm doing. As far as Golden Skull goes, I'm also trying to. Somebody in one of my Jungle of Death photo story, in the comments, they wanted me to use more vintage items in my photo stories, and I took it to heart. I am going to be using my ATV with some Huckster items on there. So that will be part of the photo story. I really enjoyed seeing Adam use his vintage stuff in his photo story Thirst. So I will be using that. And I can't wait to use the Spider, Huckster's newest creation, and then my ATV. So I am trying to incorporate more vintage stuff into some of my photo stories for you guys. Okay, a few other things let's talk about. Oh, by the way, thanks to I for this photo story, I have I've reached out for some help from some people, and Sean Huckster and Ed from Action Figures have both helped me quite a bit with this photo story. They've both sent me a couple items that I'm going to be using. So thanks, guys. I appreciate all the help. I don't normally ask for help with my photo stories, but I really needed a couple items from these guys, and they really were gracious enough to help me out. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll definitely give you a shout out in the credits. A few projects I've been working on. So I just finished this guy up right here. It is the Night of Darkness, and there's going to be a video this fall of him. Murray Corrigan's working on something for me right now for this guy, so I think it's going to be a really cool project, and look for him in a Super Joe photo story at some point in time in the future. And also, you guys will see this Golgo 13 from Skynet. It's on the G.I. Joe Classic Collection body. I got it from Syndico. I just recently realized when I was going through and doing the review of the figure, his arm was broken. So I actually swapped his head with a super articulated body. I did that today, and I'll put him back in his signature suit and give him his signature AR-15. And I think it's going to be a really cool figure. I love Golgo 13. So let's hit the comments. See, we got Dan DiBiase, of course. G.I. Jetman, what's up, man? Carl's Toys and Other Things. Thanks for being here, bro. And then James Pavarelli. James, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the Sunday in the shop. I hope everybody's doing great tonight. It's a hot one here in Central Illinois right now. So let's go through a few more items as we tell you what all I've got going on here lately. So I've been working on a lot of weapons here, and this will kind of actually let's talk about this stuff first. So I reached out to a guy who's done some t-shirts for me in the past on Etsy, and I had some signature t-shirts made for my Skunkworks Studios new logo I did. Sorry, nerds, I used a little bit of AI to make this, so feel free to hate on me. I got thick skin. Don't worry about it. There we go. That didn't turn out as good as what I wanted it to. Hold on a second here. We got to answer a message. We might have a special guest tonight. Let's see here. All right. So, and then my last one is one of my favorite podcasts, Tinfoil Hat Podcast, Sam Tripoli, funny-ass comedian. And these will probably all be making it into some of my photo stories. So shout out to this guy on Etsy. I can't remember his name now, but he made these cool t-shirts for me, and I can't wait to use them in a photo story. So I have been working on weapons here lately. I had, when Mark II Design made me my laser tag weapons, I had him make me a second set, and I've actually painted them military green. I think these are going to be really cool looking. I'm going to try to make these in a photo story as well. These debuted in my Super Joe photo story I did with G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles. Shout out to Andy and Indy. Andy made me some of these Space Lugers. And I just recently painted these. They're really cool. Let me get a piece of paper here so you guys can kind of see them a little bit better. Oh, shit. Sorry. There we go. So they're cool. He made me 3 of these, and I can't wait to use these in a Super Joe photo story in the future. And then, of course, the amazing Carlo at Easy16 Creations. I had Carlo create those G.I. Joe laser battle pistols for me, and I've been basically painting these. Get that paper back up here. I've been painting these to use in a photo story. So I've painted him a kind of a few different colors. He sent me several when I commissioned him to make these for me. I have 2 more that I'm finishing up right now. So and Mr. Murray Corrigan is actually making me a shoulder holster for one of these because it's going to become the sidearm of my adventure team commander. So that should be cool. Let's see here. What else do we want to talk about before we kind of get into some other things? Those are rad. I can't wait to use those in a photo story. So me and my wife and son were recently at a antique mall over in Terre Haute, Indiana, and I saw in a case this beat up G.I. Joe Land Avenger. It's $46. I said, what the hell? Bought him. I got him home and started looking him over. And Greg Brown, if you're watching this, this is interesting. So I started looking this guy over. He's missing his leg. And I started looking at him, and I'm like, this guy seems awful odd to me. This guy has Cotswold Collectibles parts on him. So he's got the Cotswold Collectibles hands. I'm assuming these are earlier issue hands. He's got a set of, or one Cotswold Collectible boot. Says Cotswold Collectible, I believe, on the bottom. Yep, says Cotswold. Can't probably see that very well. Let's see. Yeah, you can now. It's got a Cotswold dog tag and a Cotswold shoulder holster. So whoever had this guy for their grandkid or whoever must have found some parts from Cotswold to put this guy back together. So that is a really cool deal. The flocking's completely toast on this guy. And my son wanted him, so I'm going to restore him for my son. So that's a project I've got. I thought I'll do a video. I'll just probably do him and give him to my son here. So that'll be a fun thing to work on here in the future. Let's see. What else? So Cody from Poplocks 4583 reached out to me. Cody sent a group text to all the members of the Axis of Awesome, and he told us that Lowe's currently has these cool toolboxes. And I was on vacation when I saw this, so when I got back, we went over to our nearest Lowe's, and I decided to get one of these. Now, they only had a few of them. And they only had the green and the back. Let me see if I can, hold on here. Let me take this thing out first. And we'll look at it closer and we'll talk about it. Okay. So when I went to the local Lowe's, they had like a pagoda, like a stack of them. And they had all these colors available. But the only ones they had were the white I got, and then this green one here. So I did not get the color I wanted. I would have liked to have had black or the gray, but I had to settle for the white. But these are super cool. They're basically 1/6 scale. They're super dope. I really like them a lot. I definitely think they're going to be cool. You can see here, you got these deep drawers. Yeah, these are pretty rad. So I plan on probably using these for weapons. I thought about making some foam inserts and putting some weapons in here and making it part of my G.I. Joe adventure team. But this is a really cool thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of these. It was $20 at Lowe's. My wife was telling me that a lot of influencers apparently are buying these up for makeup or something. I don't know. Fucking influencers. I hate them. Hate them all. Hate them. But these are something cool. So go down to your nearest Lowe's if you want to get some of these for your G.I. Joe stuff. It's really, really cool. I can't wait to incorporate this into a photo story. So let's see what else. I think that's about it for everything I want to share with you guys. We might have a special guest tonight. He's going to be here at some point in time. We'll see. So like I mentioned, I just got back from vacation, and I was there, went to see my sister in Omaha, Nebraska, and I took my son and my wife, and my son, he's 6, and my sister had a bunch of toys from my nephew. Now, I have a nephew who's basically 10 years younger than me, so we grew up, and he's almost like a little brother to me. So when I was a kid, when I get done with toys, I usually just gave him to him. And I gave my nephew a lot of toys when he was a little kid, kind of spoiled him with a lot of really cool toys. And a few years ago, my sister had brought back my Darth Vader action figure case with all my Star Wars figures in it. And I knew I'd given my nephew a lot of other toys, but those probably didn't make it out like the Star Wars figures did. So I was going through some like a toy bin she had for my son to play with. And I started looking through it, and I'm like, holy smokes. And I ended up coming home with this bag of goodies. I mean, they're not complete, but it brought back a lot of memories. I always like to say that, like, toys are like a time capsule. It brings back memories, and you sit and just reminisce about all the cool things that you used to play and all the cool toys I used to have when I was a kid. So I'm going to share with you guys a few things I got from my sister's house, and I brought them home. She's like, go ahead and take them home. And I'm like, all right. So the first thing I found when she gave me my Darth Vader case of all my action figures I'd given my nephew, I thought those were all of them. Apparently not, because I found my Scout Bike Stormtrooper from Return of the Jedi. So I found him. That's the first thing I saw. I'm like, holy smokes, it's one of my Star Wars figures. And then also one of my Ewoks from Return of the Jedi as well. I don't remember what his name is. I know some Star Wars dork out there will probably know, but he still has his little headdress on. So I found these two guys in that bin of toys, and she's like, take them home. I also found one of my California raisins. So I used to love the California raisins. I think they used to be in the Hardee's commercials. For you guys who know what Hardee's is. I had all of them, and I found this one here, and I knew I'd given those to my nephew as well. So I brought those home. I'll probably just throw that in my son's toy bin. Let's see what else. I found my G.I. Joe Tunnel Rat, his backpack. So, used to have the double flashlights, the military flashlights that went in there. So I found my Tunnel Rat backpack, which I thought was really cool. So I used to have a lot of the Kenner Silverhawks figures when they first came out. I really loved Silverhawks. And I had a steel mill that I had given my nephew, and I found Steel Mill's arm and Steel Mill's hawk or whatever with his broken wing. I instantly knew what these were when I saw them, the old vac metal from Steel Mill. I thought that was really cool too. So that was neat. And then I also found, I used to love BraveStarr. When BraveStarr came out from Mattel, I got a few of those items. I didn't have a lot of them, but I really, really liked the laser play. They were kind of too expensive for us at the time. But I found my BraveStarr vest and the BraveStarr laser blaster. I thought those were cool. That was the only things left from BraveStarr. And then also I had Secret Wars. The Secret Wars Mattel figures, if you guys remember those. So I had the Doom Tower, and I think this is the laser blaster from the Doom Tower. It's either from the Doom Tower or one of the cycles. I can't remember, but I found this too. So I gave my nephew all those Secret Wars figures and all that stuff. So he found that. But the things that really stood out to me was when I was a kid, I was a big fan of the LJN Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I was super excited. Hey, Peter Buckley, thanks for joining, man. I was super excited when I saw this. I found my Melf figure and his legs. So the legs have fallen off of Melf, but I think I can get him half-ass restored here, and I can restore my Melf figure. I loved my LJ in Dungeons & Dragons. I also found one of the other characters I had his battle club. And then there is a couple of Titan figures. I think one was like modeled after a gladiator and the other one was a Viking. I found the Viking's winged helmet. I'll probably 3D print a stand for the helmet and just set it on there and put it on my desk. I think that's super cool. It's so neat to find things that you had as a kid. I remember playing with all this stuff. I can almost remember when we got it all, aside from the Star Wars figures, because we had a lot of Star Wars figures as kids. But yeah, man, I had, when I was a kid, I had a little bit of everything. So I didn't have I wasn't like a completist in most things. I think I had the majority of the Marvel Secret Wars figures. I had almost all of those. I didn't have a lot of the DC Superpowers figures, even though I enjoyed them. I had a few of them, like the basic characters like Aquaman, Green Lantern, Batman, Robin, Batmobile. You've seen the review of that. Flash, Superman. And that was about it. I think I had Lex Luthor, and that was about it for those. Silverhawks, I had like the main characters, like Quicksilver. I had Stillmill, and maybe a couple others. I didn't have any villains for those. Had all the California Raisins, had a ton of G.I. Joe Real American Heroes stuff. And I had almost all of the Dungeons & Dragons, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons figures from LGN. I had all those. I did not have the Fortress of Fangs. I really wanted that when I was a kid, but I had a buddy who had it. But I did not get that. But to go through and see all these, it brings back a lot of memories. I had a lot of memories of playing with these toys when I was a kid. They were super cool, and it was really, really fun to play with all that stuff. And I loved the fact that my sister had all that. She said that she's got a few more tubs of toys, so there might be some other ones in there. They've moved around a lot. My brother-in-law is a retired colonel in the Air Force, so they've moved around. They've just finally retired a few years ago, and they've settled down into a permanent house. And they haven't gone through all their boxes from all their moves, so they're going to move again, I think, and then they're going to probably go through all that stuff. So there might be some other stuff in those boxes that we'll find, and hopefully, if I find them, my sister sends them, we'll share them with you guys. But it is so cool to see things that you had as a kid, and then watch them, return to you, and that's probably one of the neatest things about all that. I was sitting there with my son on the floor going through this tub of toys, and I just was like, holy smokes, that is super cool, man. Finding Melf was like the highlight, because I instantly saw him like, holy shit, that's one of my Dungeons & Dragons figures. And then I had to like think, I'm like, oh man, it would have been like 1989 probably, or probably 90, 91 when I gave those to my nephew. I have my sister has two kids, so one is 10 years younger than me, and the other one is 15 years younger than me. And Jake, the older one, I gave him a lot of toys. So him and I are really close. And he's a big movie guy, and he's always sending me movie stuff, and I'm always shitting on some of the stuff he sends me too. So that's what uncles do, man. It's what cool uncles do. But so that's about it for all the stuff we've got to share. Like I said, we've got Japanese July coming up. It's going to be super fun. I think you guys are going to like some of the reviews I've done, or I'm doing. Some of them are going to bleed on into August. But, it is what it is. When I set out to do Japanese July, I kind of just needed a filler for the summer because I had a lot going on. I wanted to finish this Golden Skull photo story, and, it just seemed like a good thing to do to review some of these items that I've gotten from Japan and Seneco auctions. So it's kind of why I did it. It probably won't be super popular with everybody, but I don't know. Seems like the cool thing to do for me, as far as giving me a little time to finish a bunch of stuff. Now, live streams, I won't be doing those until August, so I want to let you guys know that. And then I have another project I'm working on right now. I'm doing a video. You guys, I'll share this with you too. I'm doing a video right now of this. So in one of my What's in the Shops, I've told you guys I got these really cool plywood cutout Christmas elves with Santa. And right now I'm doing a video of, I was going to restore these, but they're paper put on plywood, and it's really hard. I would have to paint the paper and match all of it up. So I took a different approach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these and trace them on a piece of 1/4-inch plywood. And I got a buddy who's a really good woodworker. He has his own wood shop. My buddy John, went to school with him when we went to grade school and high school together. And John's going to cut them all out for me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some Mylar, and we're going to put Mylar over these. We're going to trace all the details. So then we're going to paint each one of these individually by hand. And the goal right now is to get these ready for our town's Christmas display. It comes right after Thanksgiving. So I've got several of these elves. I think you guys hopefully saw them in the What's in the Shop. But we got the elves, and we got a big Santa Claus and a bag of toys. So that's what I'm trying to work on right now as well. I also promised a guy here in town who owns a meadery. He owns it outside of town, but I was going to give him one of my Viking drinking tables, and I need to make a set of benches for that. So I might do a video of that as well. He has a really, really nice meadery. It's called the Tree Hive. I don't know if you guys have ever tried mead, but it's, if you're diabetic, probably shouldn't try it, I guess. It's pretty sweet. My dad's old now, so he's got diabetes now. He's not overweight or anything, but he's just got it. It's a hereditary thing. But it's too sweet for him. But it's like lighter fluid though, the meat is. One other thing I was going to tell you guys. So let me grab this here, move this box out of the way. So one of my early videos I did was based on a custom project that I had done a long time ago on Facebook for a photo story. Let me bring my stool over here. So I had an old helicopter, G.I. Joe helicopter. I kind of half-assed restored. I didn't really restore it. I just bought parts. I painted it all orange. I got a cool video. I called it a cargo copter. It doesn't really hold anything, but I removed the scratches from most of the windshield, de-yellowed it as best I could. I actually had an extra G.I. Joe Capture Copter armored plate, painted that, added the logo on the front. Then I actually did the fuselage here. Put my old custom decals. Added a hook here. Did a harness system on the seat. You can see there, those are all parachute clips snapped together. And I also made a strut out of styrene for it. So I did that. And then I painted these propellers as well. So I got to clear out some space for some other projects I'm working on. So I think I'm going to put this on eBay for sale. So if some guy wants a custom helicopter, it's a really cool piece. I'm going to put that on eBay here probably in the next few days. So if you're interested and want a helicopter like that, I'll throw it on eBay. So maybe one of you guys would like to have that and use that for your collection. Some of you guys who've been wanting a cool helicopter, or at least I think it's cool. Thanks, Peter. It's got some new guys in the chat here. Of course, like I mentioned, Peter Buckley's in here. Tim R, he's just been lurking. I love lurkers, man. Scotty Z70, man. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. See what he said. Oh, yeah, the removal of the scratches. Yep. Yep. Phoebe, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's one of the things, like, you know, it's kind of like taxes, right? You get taxed on everything. You get taxed on your paycheck. You get taxed on the money, the shit you buy. I mean, it's like being in some kind of dystopian nightmare where you just can't get away from fees. I mean, yeah. I won't go into any rants, but I feel you, man. Um, so that brings me to one thing I wanted to talk about. So with these outfits on Phoebe, my goal is to just kind of put those on there and establish kind of a price point, which what people want to pay for something, and then back it down a little. And I wanted to do something similar to what Matt Squatch Customs used to do, where you throw items on my Facebook page, and people leave a comment, and then I'd send them an invoice or something. But I don't know if I like that. The more I think about it, I think moving forward, what I'd like to do is, once I figure out what to charge for these, a fair price, right? I probably am just going to have like an email thing where I do a video, and then I tell you guys what's available, and it'll be kind of a first come, first serve deal. Obviously, some of the stuff I've made is going to be one off, like this here, like this is a quilt fabric that my mom had, and it's not, there's no more of this available. So this is it. This is the only one. So stuff like that, it's like, it is legit one of a kind. So, but yeah, I'm trying to figure it all out right now. It's not easy when you have a lot of stuff to put on there. I hate eBay. I don't like it. But I've looked at Etsy, but Etsy's not much better. I mean, you're kind of fucked either way. It's just, I got to figure out a way where I'm going to get screwed the least. So, and then I don't know, like, I don't know. There's a lot of shit. Yeah, Tim, I'd love to do some rants. I'd probably lose half my fan base, maybe. I don't know. Might gain some fans. Who knows? Who knows? So, anyways, I'm gonna drop the t-shirts, or the short sleeve shirts and pants tonight after this live stream, and then the Overland Explorer and Overland Explorer XL jackets I'll drop next week. I didn't want to drop them all at one time because, first of all, I got other shit going on. I don't need to be, spend all my time going to the post office. But so I kind of wanted to do it in steps to kind of, make it easier on me. So you're debating on getting a video command figure on eBay and everything. Oh yeah, those are cool. That'd be cool. Send me a picture of that if you get that. Actually, I know Elite Action Joe Studios, Pat has done some really cool videos of like fan stuff where people have sent him pictures and whatnot. I have a lot of stuff from people that have emailed me pictures. And one of these days, I think this fall, I'd like to do like just a complete live stream where I showcase all the fan pictures people have sent me, because I've got a lot of really cool pictures from people. I always tell them I'm going to try to share them on my live stream, but I never get around to it. I will make time, hopefully this fall on the Sunday in the shop. Maybe we'll just do one dedicated to everybody's customs and stuff they send me. That's how kind of I started out when I made this channel. I was just doing stuff for myself, just kind of just putting stuff out there in the ether. And then I know like Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles reached out. He was sending me custom pictures. Roberto Acevedo started sending me custom pictures. And then I started meeting up with the rest of these dudes in the Axis of Awesome through emails and comments. And that's kind of how we formed the whole thing. And yeah, it is a really cool community. It's one of the more entertaining things that I do. And it's great for the hobby. I think Pat said this one day, like, I watch everybody's videos, but I don't always comment on everything because I'm usually doing other stuff when I'm watching the videos. So I need to comment probably more on all of these guys. And there's so many really good channels now. And it is a really cool movement that's going on. And, you got Paul Knapp doing his live stream Mondays, and then he does his Toy Soldier one on Tuesdays. You got Ernie's Attic. You got Cos Becerra and his channel doing a lot of reviews of the new stuff. Adam drops those Star Trek videos every once in a while. Pat's been doing a lot more videos by himself now. And it's just there's a lot of really good channels that are starting to pop up. And there's a lot of old channels that are out there as well. I know Peter Buckley from the Skull Reviews still does videos, and he does really cool ones. He did a Hot Wheels one the other day that was really nice. We love Hot Wheels. I think they were Jurassic Park Hot Wheels. Correct me if I'm wrong, Peter. But we love Hot Wheels here at my house too. And I'm enjoying seeing everybody kind of finding their hobby and kind of finding their way and making YouTube videos, because that's one of the cool things is I always tell everybody, start a channel if you have time. Don't worry about subscribers. Don't worry about any of that shit. It comes, but just make sure you're doing something you enjoy doing. And, Dan DiBiase started out doing really cool photos a long time ago, and he's transitioned into this snowboard stuff he's doing, which was really cool. I think he showed a big gym head for his snowboard competition he's got coming up. So there's a lot of guys who are getting into YouTube or were in YouTube a long time ago and maybe getting back into it. But there's a lot of really cool channels out there, and discovering them is super fun. But most importantly, sharing other people's channels and talking about other people's channels is really important, because you help their channels grow, and it's a kind of a feel-good thing, man. Building a cool community of cool people is really important. I know, Scotty, you started a channel in 2022. Yep. Just to blog and share stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of these channels are. I know there's a lot of guys who are focused on analytics and they want to just stick to one thing, but I don't really care about that kind of shit. I do my G.I. Joe stuff, but I branch out into other things as well. I don't really care. I'm not getting rich off this at all. I'm probably getting screwed more than getting rich, because of when you look at how many people watch your videos and then the ad revenue you get, you're totally getting screwed over by YouTube. But that's what corporations do, man. They just they screw you and make all their money. Hey, I'm going to stop ranting. I got a guy tonight, a special guest, which coincides with James Peverelli's question. So let's bring this dude on right now, guys.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey.
What's going on, my man?
What's going on with you, man?
Oh, man, it's been a minute since we've talked.
It's been a long time, dude.
Yeah.
How's it going? I didn't tell anybody that you were coming on tonight. I wanted to be a surprise for everybody in the chat. So,
well, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we were running some errands. I thought, man, I got to get back by 4:30, and man, just about the skin of our teeth.
we fly by the seat of our pants on this channel, man. You know that already.
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
Oh man, not much. Just trying to stay busy, trying to keep my channel going. Time's been a real issue, but got some real cool stuff coming down. I think you enjoyed the new photo story I dropped.
Dude,
Thirst.
That was great. I didn't even know how to put it in words. Somebody else did a really good job of putting it in words. That was such a simple story, but done like perfectly. Like it focused on one thing, and it was done extremely well. And it was just super cool, man. Like, a lot of your stuff that you do, you always got the monsters and whatever else, but this is just a straight up survival story. And I'm like, holy shit, this is great.
I know. And it's funny because, this is probably a few weeks ago. Well, maybe probably a month ago. I was doing photos for the Bloodstone, and I have this little wagon with my tote, with my Joes and my equipment and stuff. And I take it down to this empty lot, which is a really great place to do photographs. And I was doing the photographs, and it was probably like 108 degrees out, and I had forgot to bring me anything to drink. And I'm sitting there, and I thought, man, I'm really thirsty. It's like I need something to drink, but I didn't want to pack up everything and go back to the house. So I just, I pushed through it. And then when I got back, I'm thinking, that might be a kind of a cool, simple story. Is that Joe's on a mission. He gets stranded. He's all by himself, no water. What's he going to do? So that just came out of that, me not bringing anything to drink formed that photo story. But it was simple, but, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. I was sitting there watching that, and I was thinking to myself, you've kind of developed your own unique style now with your photo stories, and you kind of saw it start with your Star Trek stuff, where you
Yeah.
move the guys,
Yeah.
and it's super cool to see that, like the shootout. The shootout was like freaking awesome, man. I'm like, the
I know,
shootout
it's
was
like,
awesome. Did you drill a hole in your ATV? Was that like an old ATV you just used?
yeah, I did.
That's
I did.
awesome, dude.
Well, because that's an old ATV that I customized years ago, and tried to make it kind of cool, and I painted it desert tan, which is my favorite. Um, yeah, it worked out good. I call that live action. I don't know what anybody else calls it, but
I love it.
because I don't do stop motion. I know you're really good at it. Tom is phenomenal at it. Cody's
Yeah,
really good at it.
yeah.
I just don't have the time to do that. So I just do that. It does work out if you do it not too much or do the right scenes with it. But and I kind of wanted to have the ending like the old Peter Pan story records where you know Joe was in danger, but it's a hero's journey. At the end, they have like a couple of jokes and they have a few chuckles, and everything is good. So I kind of wanted the end like that.
Oh, it was great, man. I was just like, holy shit, this is really good. Yeah, and that's right. You have gotten really good at that. Like the timing and everything is really good, and just it looks super cool. Like, and it's great. I was just talking about the community we've all kind of formed. Everybody's now has like their own unique style,
Yeah,
which is super fun
it
because
is.
now we've all got like, it's almost like we're a movie company, where we've got
Yeah,
each
we could
director.
be.
You got the Quentin Tarantino's, Richard Rodriguez, or Robert Rodriguez, I guess is his name, and a bunch of these other guys, and you've got everybody, like you got Max Sog, who he has just amazingly elaborate backdrops with
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
photos and perfectly tailored clothes. Like he's like, the professionalism of his stuff's really cool. You've got Pat,
that's top
who does,
level.
yeah, Pat, who does the stop motion with his Sasquatch and that kind of stuff. And you've got you and me, and then you got Random Old Geezer now, who's got a really good
Yep,
channel where he's the dialogue is like spot on with that.
I know.
Um,
It's almost like God, it's almost like to me it has like a James Bond kind of feel,
it does.
or Eon Fleming. I know it's really really well done, well written. I don't know if he uses AI voices or if that's his voice he
I
uses.
think it's him and his daughter.
Yeah, I know his daughter does the female,
Yeah,
but it's top notch, really really good.
it's those English accents too. The English accents just add. You could add an English accent to like anything, and it sounds like 25,000% times cooler. I don't know. I wonder if people, I wonder if people in other countries are like, just add an American accent, and it's going to be super cool.
Probably.
I guess it depends what region of the country you're from too, right? You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And I was thinking that that photo story I did. Where else could you do it but Arizona?
Oh, dude, how hot was it when you were doing that?
About 115.
Oh my God, it's a dry heat though, right?
Yeah, it's a dry heat. Yeah. Uh huh.
Shit,
It
man.
was like 118 today.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was like 105 last week here, but the humidity
Ooh.
was like it was like a 105 with like 1,000,000,000% humidity. So
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah, you're breathing it, man. It's just like you're
It's like a
in it.
wet blanket. You can't breathe.
Yeah, you're in it to win it, man. I went to Omaha last week, and I went to a zoo, and I pulled my son he weighs about 50 pounds. So I pulled him in a wagon all day, and it's a giant zoo. So it was 97 that day. So I
That's
was just
brutal.
pounding water, keeping him going, keeping him alive. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
So what else been going on, man?
Oh, just trying to work on stuff. I got more Star Trek Mego photo stories I'm doing, but I want to talk about the Curse of the Golden Skull.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be super dope. The photos you sent me are amazing. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. But I came up with a storyline that's going to be super dope. And I want to just, I don't want to tell you, but I do want to tell, because I don't care if anybody copies me or anything. But
I know. Don't worry.
so at the end of the Bloodstone, I kind of dropped a teaser where
Yeah.
Dr. Nightshade goes back in time, and
Yep.
and you see that Hitler has the Golden Skull because he's looking for
Right.
all these artifacts.
Right.
Well, my story is going to start out where Joe has to do a dive on a lost Nazi U-boat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be super dope.
Oh!
Super dope.
That's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
That's gonna be great. You didn't see the start of this. I'm working on my character for mine.
Oh, nice.
Stick built this guy, so he's gonna be the main, I guess what you call it, antagonist
Yeah.
in my story. So I've got to get him finished up. He's almost finished, and then I'm making another. I'm making a creature right now. Here's part of him right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm making those. I think this might be a raccoon skull. I can't remember. My brother has a bunch of skulls. He traps for a living.
Right.
So he has a ton of skulls. I had a snapping turtle skull that was going to look cool, but I thought this would be better. So I've got to actually flesh this all out with polyclay and then bake it in the oven to make
wow.
what I'm trying to haul ass. Today I went and worked on the second part of it, my story. I got most of it, so it's all uploaded to my computer. So I just got to start editing that, and
Nice.
then I shot the ending too. So I just have to get these done and then do the main. I don't know if I'd call it battle or confrontation or whatever else for my storyline. Mine's
Right.
called the Sorcerer of Atlantis. So,
Ooh.
yeah. It's not. It doesn't really. It has some connections to my other photo stories in a
Right.
way, but it's a completely new one. It's funny, like when you were looking at Bloodstone and using that as a continuation. I was thinking about this probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had a photo story I wanted to make, and I just incorporated the Golden Skull into it. So
Nice.
I think it's gonna be super cool. I can't wait to see what everybody makes. I don't know who's all making stuff right now. I know there's some people doing photos, but I don't, as far as like photo stories or anything else, I don't really know. Nobody's told me. So I guess we're gonna wait until October when we start dropping all these on Paul Knapp's show.
Now, for October, is there like a certain day of October? Or is this going to be the entire month of October?
I was thinking the entire month.
Okay.
Like I wanted it to be like a Halloween type thing, and a lot of people celebrate Halloween the whole month of October. So I was just thinking the first part of October, everybody just starts dropping stuff. I know like people were going to reach out to me or Paul, and then like we were going to do Paul's live streams and show pictures and whatnot, and then, like people who don't have YouTube channels that wanted to do a video or whatever, they could send it to us, and we were going to, do the video on the live stream. So that was the plan. Cool. So we'll see what happens. This is the first time we're trying this. So if it's successful, we'll come up with another theme next year. Yeah. And maybe hopefully we can make it like an annual type deal,
That would be awesome. Yeah, I am really looking forward to see what everybody does. I'm hoping to see a lot of photo stories. I mean, just single photographs are great, but the photo stories are great because I know I still got to do the video. The stuff that you sent me, it's cool. I think one of those things is a Buzz Lightyear the helmet and the chest piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I saw that, and I'm going to customize that. I'm going to put uh, some diving tanks on the back. We'll make it like almost like a steampunk style old dye suit
That's cool.
for Joe. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty dope.
That's awesome. Yeah, I sent you that. I sent you the jetpack. I thought you could make something out of that too. Like I thought you could do that. Then of course the head and everything.
Yeah, the heads are super dope. Now the one looks like a soldier or a robot. What head sculpt is that? Something you just came up with, or
that's Zem from Ideal's Star Team, like late 70s.
I was gonna say it looks like 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I figured I had a few of those, and I casted like maybe 4 or 5. They all had like air bubble holes. So I'm like, screw it, I'm not recasting these. So
right,
I kept a couple here. I think I sent another one out, and then I sent one to you because the way you customize stuff, I'm like, Adam can use this for something rather than get rid of it. I know you could make something cool out of it. So
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to do a video because Jeff's super cool. He sent me some cool stuff. The figure's cool, and the other head sculpt is really dope. To me, when I saw it, to me it had a feel of like Lex Luthor or maybe like Mr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just kind of got that look. I think it's definitely going to be a future antagonist villain.
Yep.
For a future photo story, but yeah, really cool.
I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see what you do with all that stuff. I can't wait to see your Golden Skull photo story too.
It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope.
I know it's going to be fun. Do you have any other? Do you have some more Mego Star Trek stuff coming?
Yeah, I've got several episodes that I want to get done. There's another one where I want to take my my 8-inch Mego Kiss figures, and I want to do like one of their rock videos. Have like the big Kiss sign in the back.
Oh shit!
Build like a raised drum set for Peter Criss, and maybe do like "I Was Made for Loving You," some kind of like music video. I think it'd be kind of cool. And
what's that? I see those live performances from the 1970s. I can't remember what the name of it was, like the Saturday nights, but not Saturday Night Special, but there's another one. And there's a lot of Kiss live stuff. I can't remember it. Somebody in the comments might know. I know Dan DiBiase would totally know. They'd have live music, the bands performing the live albums. It was like all through the 70s.
Yeah. It's I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either. Because I used to watch
YouTube has them.
Yeah.
You can watch them all.
Yeah. But that's back when Kiss ruled the world, man. I mean, the 70s. I mean, Destroyer, Love Gun, I mean, Dynasty. I mean, those were all fantastic albums. And I actually, I know you're a big comic book guy, and so was I. And I had to have the Marvel comic where they actually put their own blood into the ink of the comic book. Oh, dude, it was awesome.
Brilliant marketing.
Oh yeah. Marketing geniuses, dude.
It's interesting with Kiss. Like, I listen to a lot of like metal, like extreme metal. So I like a lot of the Norwegian not all the Norwegian black metal bands, but a lot of them. And it's funny because they're all, when they started wearing their makeup, their corpse paint, like probably one of the most famous ones is this guy named Abath. And I repost shit about him all the time because I think he's hilarious, but he got his makeup was inspired by the Kiss. His dad was a salesman. I think he went over to the United States and brought him back. I think it was Kiss Alive, maybe.
Yeah.
And after that, I think he's like a year older than me, but he instantly was like a huge Kiss fan. So all those black metal bands a lot of their makeup, wearing the makeup was inspired by Kiss. So like all the bands Kiss is inspired is pretty wild.
Yeah. And what's funny, Kiss was inspired by Alice Cooper.
Really? That's
cool. Because
it
was funny because I saw a documentary where, Kiss had just got together, and Peter Criss and Paul Stanley went to a Alice Cooper concert, and they're watching him, and they're thinking, "Oh, this guy's fantastic." And then Peter Criss came up with the idea, well, what if we had 4 Alice Coopers on stage? And Paul Stanley goes, yeah, that's great. So everybody was responsible for making their own character. So that kind of, the original shock rocker inspired Kiss. So it's funny how everybody inspires everybody else.
Midnight Special. There you go. Bert Sugarman's Midnight Special. Thanks, Dan. I knew Dan would know. Dan's a big music guy.
Yep.
He's a big music guy. Yeah, Kiss is one of those bands that's like really timeless, man. I think every album they made, even when they started, making stuff in the 80s and then early 90s, I think almost every one of their albums has a banger tune on it, like a really good one.
Yeah.
The albums aren't, in my opinion, aren't always the best from front to back, but each one has like a song on there that you can kind of remember. Like Black Sabbath's the same way for me. Like,
yeah,
every Black Sabbath album, even when they had some of the obscure lead singers, there's still good songs on all those.
Right. And it's funny too, because you look at Kiss. I mean, they're probably one of the largest bands ever in the world.
Oh yeah.
And they have so many hits. But Kiss is one of the few bands that they never had a number 1 hit.
Yeah.
The closest thing they came was Beth. And I think that hit number 8 on the top 40.
Yeah, it shows you how screwed up radio is, though, right? Like, It's kind of like...
Well, remember back in the late 70s, they came out, well, it means, especially in the Bible Belt, they're Satan worshipers, and
yep.
I think that killed a lot of their radio time.
Nights in Satan service.
In a lot of areas. Yep.
Yeah. Satanic Panic. I remember all that shit I lived through. Oh man, Satanic Panic in the early 80s was just hilarious.
And you know who started all that? It was Al Gore. Remember?
Yeah, Al Gore.
They had the congressional hearings and all that.
Parental advisory stickers and all that stuff. Yeah, it's wild to go back and look at that stuff. It's wild to tell kids about that when considering the stuff that kids listen to now.
Oh,
you're like, this shit would have probably got those people thrown in jail like in 88, 89,
well, the stuff now would have came in a brown bag.
Yeah, listen to a lot of those lyrics. That's for damn sure, man. Yeah. I don't even buy albums anymore. I buy stuff off iTunes every once in a while, but basically all my music listening now comes on YouTube, because I'll be sitting there and I'll be thinking, a song will pop in my head, or I'll be listening to like a podcast and they'll be talking about an artist, and then I'll get on there and then I'll go down like a wormhole.
Yeah.
You like if I'm ever feeling like really shitty, like if I'm having just a shitty day, I always like to pop on there, Lick It Up by Kiss, because that video is so preposterously hilarious.
It's like probably one of the worst videos ever.
I laugh, but it's a great song. But oh my god, those dudes! Like, they traded like glam horror for like glam trans almost.
Yes. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, when they took their makeup off, I lost a lot of respect for them, because I know there's a huge unmasked army, but to me, I loved it in '96 when they got back together. They put back the makeup on. Yeah. They did Psycho Circus. Man, they're back. They're back. And what was amazing is this had been like 20 odd years, and when you saw them, they hadn't aged a bit. It's like they look exactly the same as they did in 1978.
Yep. They all have the same mannerisms and shit. And yeah, man, it's almost like, those early 80s, it's everybody operates on, they still do now in the music industry. They all operate on trends. And you had the hair metal going in it, and they probably had some manager, right, saying this is where we need to go. Album sales are down or whatever, because that's like a huge business for them. But
oh yeah,
I love following music trends, because you can always tell like it's not going to last real long. The bands that are there's a handful of bands out there now who've been together for a long time that still make that quality music, and it's just wild to see that happen, because that very rarely ever happens. Like the original band members stay together and they all continue to make good music.
Well, today it costs so much money to form a band. I mean, they really don't have bands anymore. I
Yep.
mean, you'll take an individual, they'll do a session, they'll mix it here, they'll mix it there, and they don't have to pay a band, But yeah, I mean, bands are a thing of the past. I mean, the bands that like we grew up with, there's
Yep.
not ever going to be bands like that again.
Yeah, I was listening
It's
to
just
an
too expensive.
interview.
It's too expensive.
Yeah, I
And
was listening
and
to
does
an
does
interview.
anybody buy music anymore, Jeff?
I don't know if anybody buys albums anymore. I mean,
No.
I'll buy like my favorite bands, I'll still buy their albums. But like if I just like songs, I'll buy the song. It's just kind of the model now, Like I was
Right.
listening to an interview with one of my favorite bands is High on Fire and Sleep, and their lead singer Matt Pike. He's a super dope dude. He has some really good YouTube videos about cryptids and shit. But anyways, like he was basically talking like it's not even lucrative anymore to have a band, right? Like
right.
you used to make money off merchandise and touring, and now the venues are like so expensive now
Right.
that you can't even make money. So some of these guys are having to get like 9-to-5s or give music lessons or do a lot of shit just to kind of stay afloat. And that is wild.
Right.
Considering
Well,
what we used to see.
And plus you've got all those personalities that you've got to contend with. It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And a lot of like we like a lot of rock and metal and stuff. And it's just like, unless you're, signed to a big label and letting a group of writers write your songs, or you've gotten enough money being famous for a long enough time, you're gonna be lucky to really make it at all. Like you're screwed
Right.
almost.
Yeah, and Pete Daddy's in jail, so you can't go to one of his parties and
You go to P. Diddy's party. You can't go to Diddy's baby oil party and get yourself in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It is wild to see things shift from like, when we were young to what it is like now in the music industry or just movies or anything in general. And it's just like, yeah, it's kind of wonder, like it makes you wonder like where it's going to be in like 20 years. And like when you look at like what we're doing with our GI Joes and our action figures and just going out and making the stuff we'd like to make for ourselves, I think that's kind of where it's at in our hobby now. I don't think the Real American Hero guys are in the classified guys are really doing that at all. They're like taking a lot of really good pictures. They're like really big they're photo guys. Those guys, I think one of the guys I'm friends with basically told me like almost that line's made to photograph. Like it's a beautiful set of figures and they're really well done. And I think our toys, our GI Joes are made to take out in the backyard and play. Like
absolutely. Like I said, the Real American Hero guys, you're so limited on those figures. Like I said, they photograph well, but you can't. And well, with the 1/6 scale, I mean, you can make stuff look very realistic. It's like, am I looking at a figure or am I actually looking at a person? I mean, the vehicles, everything is just scaled perfectly. I mean, I've always been a 1/6 scale guy. It's just because, like I said, you can change their uniforms, you can change their gear, which to me I think was the biggest appeal for me. Was like, man, he can have this adventure, he can have this adventure, he can have this adventure. You can mix and match, But when it's a piece of plastic and everything's baked on and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of I think that's one of the advantages of like, GI Joe Adventure Team in a way is like, with Real American Hero and Classified, you're kind of I wouldn't say that you're pigeonholed into like a military theme because they, if you watch the old cartoons, they had some adventures, like the Weather Dominator and stuff like that. But you really are still pigeonholed into a military theme with like the Adventure Team. You can have a military guy, you can do military, you can do adventure, you can do treasure hunting, you can do adventure, sports adventure, any of that stuff, scuba diving. Like you're really diverse on your storylines. If you want to make and write storylines, you can do a lot of shit with your adventurers and your Adventure Team guys that maybe I wouldn't say you can't do with Classified and Real American Hero, but you're still kind of relegated to that military stuff. Yeah. And until Hasbro, and I don't know what's going on with Hasbro. It's all over the place with people. A lot of people post videos. This is the end of Hasbro. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even care. But
Well,
until it,
you know how I feel about Hasbro.
yeah, I do. I do. Well, I think we all feel about this. I think everybody in our age group kind of feels the same way about Hasbro. But it's really interesting. I don't know if they have a direction. I think they're kind of hitting their stride on their classified stuff. They're doing the stuff really well, but man, it's hard to get out of your own way sometimes. And I still think that they're having a hard time getting out of their own way. And
I sit back and I think, how most things in life, everything comes full circle. Yep. It's like what was old and outdated comes back and it's new again. I'm hoping that Hasbro does that. Like maybe 5 years from now, they bring back the Adventure Team or bring something similar to that, and and start out what made you a flagship company was your 1/6 scale Adventure Team and GI Joes. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I feel like the guys running GI Joe right now. I don't know them. I've never talked to any of them. I know some guys who do know them. I hear that like they want to do other stuff, but you have to get your brand successful enough to where they're going to give you more money to like do other projects, which is probably, that makes sense to me. I don't know if the guys who are doing GI Joe right now actually know about the history of GI Joe. I don't think they do. Like when you had Daryl DePriest working there and some of the other legendary guys, I think they knew the history of GI Joe from that standpoint, and they actually respected it. I don't know, and I'm putting words in people's mouths here, so but whatever. That's
well, I mean, but their actions are doing that for them. It's like these companies sometimes forget who their base is or who the people that made them successful. And it's like, to me, they've taken the flagship, they've turned it into the Titanic. They're heading right for the iceberg, which is, total, financial failure. It's full speed ahead. It's like, we're not deviating from the course. We're going to take this baby down to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, they're licensing. They're throwing out GI Joe licenses like dollars at a strip club. They'll get letting everybody have a license. I'll tell you what I think is the hypocrisy of Hasbro right now, and it's, I don't know if you heard about the. So they got this legacy collection right now where it's basically like they're doing like firemen. They did the 60th anniversary action soldier, action pilot, action sailor, but they're not really affiliated with classic. It's not. They say it's like a legacy, like an homage to the GI Joes, but it's really not, because they don't put a vintage head in there. It's all like this. In my opinion, it's just all poorly thought out. So they had a firefighter, which is really cool looking, and then they announced at the early part of either last part of May or early part of June a legacy collection police officer. So they were supposed to drop that for pre-order, and coincidentally, it was around the time that those yo-yos were getting ready to have their No Kings protest. So they got scared, and this is the rumor, but I think it's pretty legit. They got scared and decided not to have the pre-order for that police officer because they were afraid of the blowback from all the goofballs, the little yappy dogs who have the bit loudest bark but the smallest bite.
Right.
They got upset and canceled it because they were worried about the blowback. And I'm like, you have a line of toys based on military fighting terrorism, and you're getting upset over fucking a police officer when you literally have a line of toys based on military shit where you go out and kill people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the epitome of hypocrisy.
It is.
It's just stupidity. Like, and you're letting a very small percentage minority people control, your thought process on, financial decisions.
Absolutely
insane.
And that's what I was saying. That's what I've tried to tell people. Like, in some of the GI Joe communities. I'm like, you know, if you're gonna get cold feet over police officer shit, but you're gonna go ahead and promote violence through warfare, the adventure team stuff is the perfect thing for you. Why not just bring back the adventure team and make them a bunch of, you know, fucking explorers and archaeologists and all that shit? But I think they look at the adventure team like it's goofy. And that's the mentality we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people who think they think it's okay to promote warfare, but
Right.
they'd be the last person in line to go to war.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, it
Well,
makes. I mean,
it makes no sense. And you look back at the original Hasbro, like late '60s, early '70s. You know, they had the GI Joes, and because of the unpopularity of the Vietnam War, you know,
Yep.
sales started to go down, and they didn't coward to that. They thought, you know, their bottom line was, hey, we need to make money, so let's change this up a little bit.
yeah,
Let's make them into adventurers, and their sales, you know, what, doubled, tripled, quadrupled
yep,
of what the regular
absolutely.
GI Joes did.
Absolutely. Yep. And then, you know, it got killed by Star Wars and space, right? And Mego superheroes. So what did they do? They capitalized on Cold War patriotism and brought back the Real American Hero line.
Yeah,
And
which
then,
was
you know,
which was a great idea, but they
Yep.
should have continued the adventure team as well. I mean,
Yeah, I
they could
think
have
so.
they could have taken a back burner and been maybe a smaller portion of the market, but to get rid of it altogether, I think was a mistake.
You know that, did you see my review of that Collector Club Spy Island set I did a few?
Yeah, I love those.
So you could do that. You could do that exact set in classified, and that
Really?
would sell like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And the fact that they don't do that, like you can make a legacy collection Spy Island set, see how it sells. I bet you it sells out, and then you could do a jumping off point. But dude, just trying to convince those guys to do that is just like it's
like pulling teeth. I don't
It
understand.
is.
It's like a
Yep.
guaranteed. They would not be able to keep them on the shelf.
You know, that's another thing. That's another point I've been trying to make. Guys our age, we got money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who's buying all this action, all the classified stuff now. Like, I hope they're not charging that on a credit card. But we're like older guys. We got a lot of shit paid off. We got money. We're buying stuff. Like you would sell to our demographic. We would buy that figure set. But
And there's a whole bunch of us too out there, Jeff.
I know, man. It's just like like you said, I think that company's so lost that I think all the toy companies are kind of lost. You know, it's just
it's just you see the stuff and it's like it's so generic. I don't know, it just doesn't have any personality to me. It doesn't have none of it speaks to me. Like, you know, like the Adventure Team did.
No, me neither. That's Generation X, kind of, you know, and just who we are. We grew up in an era where there were so many, you wanted to know about all the unknowns like Bigfoot and everything else. You never got to find out. You spent all your time wondering. And that was the best part about the Adventure Team is the wonder and exploration of stuff. And now everything's so commercial and overdone now that it's probably hard. And I don't even know, you know, Adam, I don't even know if I even want him to do a new Adventure Team because it might be so fucking PC and woke that you might hate it. Like you would.
Yeah, I think
they give you.
They would do something and you'd be very disappointed in it.
They would. Like you'd have to have all these different check boxes in there, and you couldn't just do a team of nameless, faceless adventurers. You'd have to have a backstory. You'd have to have all this bullshit that all of us are like, we don't care about that stuff, you know? So maybe it is better.
Well, I'm telling you this. Better. Yeah, you know, but Hasbro is going down the same road as Disney, as all these companies. I mean, they are driving their companies into the ground. You know, and it's like, wake up. It's like, eventually you think their stockholders are going to say, hey, look, you're losing us money. It's like, you've got to change course or you're out of here.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they're about making money, and they're not making money. They're losing money hand over fist.
Yeah, I don't. I think they hate money right now, and I don't know. I think, it's like
How is that possible?
it takes people who it takes like ignorant people a long time to figure out what's going on. And I think that companies like Marvel and Disney and Hasbro and Mattel to a certain extent, I think that they're starting to wake up, but it just takes too long, and you've got too many people from top to bottom that are messed up in the head. That you're right, maybe the shareholders, but I don't even know, man. It's just like it's such a weird world. I don't know if it would matter.
Maybe it's that they have so much money that they don't care about it no more. Maybe they just want to be liked by people, or by certain groups. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It seems like a bananas broken system. If I operated my own finances like them, I would be on the street right now begging for food, probably. But
It's like the inmates are running the asylum.
it is, and that's kind of the coolest part about us and our group and the hobby in general. Like I was talking with Greg, Greg Brown, and I'm glad that Cotswold's around. I'm glad that we got all these kind of small indie places that make stuff. Sean Huckster makes super cool stuff, and
Yeah.
the biggest problem with our hobby right now is kind of availability. Like, everything's such a small run that I know there's a lot of people who want a lot of the stuff, but there's a guy who messaged me or on one of my comment on one of my videos about getting a hold of Sean Huckster because he wants him to make more stuff. And I'm like, well, Sean only can make so much stuff at one time because he's one guy working by himself out there, I think in Massachusetts. And, he only makes stuff that Cotswold orders. And Greg can only order so much stuff because he has overhead he's got to mess with, and it's just like, it sucks, but you're just going to have to, Cotswold does a great job of letting you know when stuff's in. So you just got to kind of be there. I know a lot of guys don't have Facebook. They're like, I don't do Facebook. And I'm like, man, I don't like Facebook either, but you got to figure out like how to use social media to your advantage. I know a lot of people hate it,
Right.
but if you have a problem using social media, that's kind of your problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't handle all the idiots out there, that's kind of not their fault. That's not their fault. That's kind of your fault. Like, you need to just figure out how to use it.
Right. Well, to me, all like social media, all that is just a tool.
It's a tool.
And I know you've had discussions with other people about AI.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm okay with it. It's just another tool in the tool shed that I can use to, to make my videos better or, improve what I do. But yeah, you're right. And you said it before too. It's like, we're just one person. We're not the Discovery Channel. It's like, we do everything ourselves. We come up with a story, we build our own stuff, we film it, we edit it, and we put it out. It's just us, one person.
It takes a long time to do that shit too.
Yeah.
I would love to spend all day, every day, just doing shit with my GI Joes and making stuff, but and the reality of life is you just can't do that. It'd be great to. Maybe when I retire someday I will, but I doubt it. But that's kind of the hard part I'm having with the clothing that we're making to put out there is like, a lot of it's going to be like, one-off stuff that you're never going to see again. And like my struggle is like I hate eBay, but it's kind of like the devil, in a sense. Right. I know I make stuff and send stuff to you guys. I make stuff for the Axis of Awesome guys, and I've sent a lot of stuff to you guys out there, and I love doing that for you guys. But I know there's people who do want access to some of that unique stuff, and I would love to be able to make tons of that stuff. But the reality is, I just can't. And
have you ever thought about 40 or 50 years in the future? Like, we're all dead and gone, but your clothing and stuff is still out there, and it becomes so desirable and
Yep.
so it's like, man, I got this outfit from Jeff Shear. It's like, this is one
Yeah,
of a kind, dude. You're not gonna get this. This is
that would
worth
be cool.
$1,000.
Like Cody at Pop Locks. Cody's made so much stuff that people
Yeah,
have, and
yeah,
and I haven't talked. I kind of messaged back and forth with Cody. Last week, I think he sent us. You were in the chat where he sent us the Cobalt toolbox.
yep,
Were you in there? Yeah.
yep.
And I messaged back with him about some heads I was gonna make, and I'm trying to get time to make them. But man, I don't even know if Cody has time to make stuff anymore. Like I know he's super busy with his life and shit and kids and
Yeah, I know where time is such an issue, and
yeah,
like me, I started my channel during COVID.
me
So we
too.
all
Yeah,
all of a
basically.
sudden we all had all this time.
Yep.
It's just like,
Yep.
in the back of my mind, I kind of wish another COVID would hit, where I have all this time to work on my channel.
Oh man, it's hard.
Not
Yeah,
really, guys, but
yeah. I don't know if I want a mulligan on that. I know I got some friends who probably want a mulligan on it, but yeah, I had a ton of time too, man.
oh yeah, we all
But
did. We all did.
we all did, and I made a lot of shit during COVID just to pass the time.
Yeah.
And now it's hard to even like put out
Dude,
video.
if I didn't have my hobby and you didn't have your hobby, I'd have lost my mind.
Oh yeah, I would have for sure.
I'd have lost my mind.
Yeah, I would have for sure. I had a lot of friends who lost their minds on it. I could probably do a whole episode of live stream on COVID stories, and but I'd probably get so pissed off, and I'd probably lose followers, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like I said, I might gain some. I don't know. It just depends.
Well, you might want to leave sleeping pandemics lie.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I still got some hatchets to bury, but I'm working on that. I'm working on that. Well, hey, man, I'm going to end this here, but I really appreciate you stopping on. And
man, I appreciate you having me, Jeff. Like I said, it's been a while since we talked.
Yeah, well, I'm going to hit you up because I'll try to get you on a Who's in the Shop this coming fall.
That'd be
probably
great.
Around Golden Skull time. I know Paul messaged me a while back and asked what you've been up to. And I said, man, I know he's working on a Airbnb. It's hot as shit. He's killing rattlesnakes with no rattles. And he's just trying to get time to do stuff. So
yeah, busy.
Yeah. I really appreciate you jumping on tonight though, man. Before you take off, let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you. And
well, you can find me at G.I. Joe, The Lost Chronicles. I do a variety of 1/6 scale stuff. I do 1/9 scale stuff with Migos. Like I said, working on a big photo story. The Curse of the Golden Skull is going to be huge. I've got more Star Trek Migos stories to do. I've got some more G.I. Joe and Mike Power stories that I've written down and I want to get done. So just stay tuned, guys.
Awesome, Adam. Hang around backstage. I'll shoot the shit with you for a few more minutes after I end this. And I appreciate it, Adam.
Cool.
Thanks for
Later,
jumping on, buddy. All right, gang. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining the live stream. We had a lot of fun. Thanks for Adam for showing up. It is always a pleasure to have a member of the Axis of Awesome jump on here and be a part of the gang. Hopefully I can get some of the other guys on here over the next few months. Like I said, Japanese July is coming. After this live stream's over, I'll be dropping some of that stuff over there on eBay. Like and subscribe to the page. Hit that notification icon. Share the videos. And in the meantime, guys, keep living the adventure and cheers.